Good morning, everybody. It's an exciting morning today because we are being all technological. I have procured my tripod back from my evil son. He got given a sort of semi-pro camera at the weekend by my amazing sister-in-law. So that means like anything that I have to do with cameras is now gone, and I have to go and feel around in his darkened, disgusting teenage, den, and collect it. And we've got the new lapel mic, so I hope the sound is good. And I wonder if I can pick it up here. Wait, I spent all this time trying to get it here. Ta-da! We will also be using cues today because I actually want to read things that I can't remember off the top of my head. Now, having spent hours getting this thing sent, and I have to do that again. So before I get into that, I am quite excited because there's all these strings attached to me and everything. But my wonderful niece, and I will put a link actually to her Instagram business feed, is an editor and a video post-production expert, and I'm very excited because, assuming we can get our diaries right, next week she is going to come over, or I'm going to go over there, I'm not quite sure which, and she is going to help me sort of, because with the side project, but it's also going to help me with these things, like with some tips and tricks on what to do, but she's also going to be doing some editing for me on some of my side project gigs. I am so super excited. I will post on the page actually one or two of just actually the projects that she did. These aren't even anything like for work. These are just, I did this project. And she is astonishing. So I'm really excited about that. A little bit of professional help. I'm hoping also she's going to charge me family rates. So anyway, with all that gunk out the week, out the way, the days are counting down for the launch of Cultivating Happiness. The 22nd of Jan is the big day, which I am really excited about. And I thought what I would do then is give you some of the quotes actually that some of the early readers have sent through to me. So these aren't full reviews, these are just one-liners that they've sent through to me having read the book. Already. There is one that I haven't got on here that came through late last night. I won't say the name because I don't know if she wanted it for public consumption. But she did say, I read it, and a lot of the coaching fraternity in Johannesburg is in hysterics. She didn't actually say whether that's hysterics ha ha or hysterics I'm gonna kill her. So on the 22nd of January, I'll be hiding. Somebody sent me this lovely quote that the author of The Glass Castle, which if you're into memoir is kind of the god of all memoirs, it's fabulous. Apparently she hid under her desk for 2 days after the book came out. So look under the desk if you're trying to get hold of me on the 22nd. Here are some of the things people have been saying. So, hello Sharon. So here are some of the things that people have been saying along the way. Bear with me with the cue stuff because I've got to get it. I'm not terribly good with the cue thing yet. Sometimes it goes really fast and sometimes it goes really slow. So whilst I was practicing with it, there was bits that I had to make up and then bits where I was talking really slowly. So let's see if I can get this thing right. Okay. So the first one comes from Robin Calvert. And she said, you see now it's going really slowly. Penny has a wonderful way with words and pulls. I'm going to make it a little faster. Here we go. And pulls the reader. So it's not wonderful words and pulls. Wonderful words and pulls the reader in beautifully. I could so relate to her alter ego, Sally. You'll have to wait to see who Sally is, as I'm sure many readers will, as this is so true to real life. The moral of the story is that the things we seek are under our nose, that things we seek are under our noses. It's really profound. And Penny's sharing of her journey, getting there, was heartfelt. Thank you, Penny. No, thank you, Robin. Actually, you've been an amazing, wait, let me stop whilst I talk about Robin. Oh, she carries on. Sorry, let me keep going. Thank you, Penny, for sharing your gifts of skillful writing and understanding of the human psyche with us. Robin has been such a cheerleader in this project. She is really, just one of those people who gives you lots of positive feedback. She's actually related to a book reviewer, so when Cure came out, she got me a lovely review on it. So thank you, Robin. You are awesome. Mwah! And thank you for saying such lovely things. The next one comes from somebody who is the partner of someone I know, and I don't know her personally. But she said, and I quite like this one because she's an English lecturer. So she actually has cred, guys. She's not just like an arb like me going, oh, I loved it. So she says, light-hearted, entertaining, and highly relatable. She's an English lecturer and an avid reader. She's called Delia Layton. So thank you so much, Delia. I don't know you personally, but I know all about you. So that is really kind, and you've got cred. My brother, so let me just stop here before I read what he said. So those of you who are on my Facebook profile with me, who are just generally Facebook friends, will know that my brother is possibly the most cynical man in the universe and has made it a lifelong commitment to tease me and my sister. You know, most boys who grow out of teasing their little sisters at, 20 or something. Yeah, well, he is, well, I don't even know he is. He's ancient Rufus, but he has not grown out of it. So this one is actually really special to me because it is not often in my family that someone turns around and says something like this. So this is what Ruth said to me. Pen, just finished the book. Absolutely fantastic. Funny, easy to read, lots of mini stories. I even guessed early on what the punchline would be, but you always do, Ruth. I loved it. So, I know for most people, that doesn't mean anything. But for me, truly, truly heartfelt. Thank you, Rufus. You are a good and kind brother. Sometimes. Most of the time you're a shit. Okay, right. This one came from my mum. You see, we're getting desperate here. No, I'm lying. This is what my mum had to say, and I will explain afterwards what she meant. My mum said, I loved the bit about Nora wellies, which I suspect only kids who grew up on farms in the UK will even know about. Yeah, it's true. So growing up in the UK, in the farming world, there were really sort of two brands of wellies. So there were hunter wellies, which I'm sure you guys know. They're a brand that have done really well. And the posh farmers, the people who had barber jackets, remember those kind of wax jackets? They were always dark green wax jackets. The posh farmers wore hunter wellies, and of course also in that time it was the time of the Sloane Rangers. So those of you who were living in the UK will remember these were the people who wore hunter wellies and barber jackets and drove a Range Rover in sort of the centre of London, so with the collar on their barber jacket turned up. So Sloane Rangers and posh people had hunter wellies, but real farmers who actually got involved in meth, had something called a Nora wellie. And Nora wellies, their big selling point was that they had no lining. So when all the muck and the crap from your actual farming got inside the wellies, you could actually wash them out, and if you were my mother, you would just dry them with a tea towel. Often the same tea towel that she was drying, like lambs and plates and cups and messes we had made. My mother is a multi-use tea towel person. So I'm not going to tell you any more about the Nora wellies, but for those of you who didn't grow up in that world, Nora wellies not only sort of identified you as like a proper farmer rather than a rich farmer. I don't know if they even existed, rich farmers, but they made you a proper farmer, and also there was there was something that created kind of a rite of passage for the kids growing up in that area. But you will have to read the book to understand what the rite of passage was. So let's continue. Oh, my sister. Let's hear what my sister said. My sister said, "Leave me alone. You knew I got claustrophobic and you got me stuck in a cave." In fact, oh, and then this is me. Yeah, in fairness, it was to some extent retribution because she ran over me with a horse. And again, you are going to have to read the book if you want to know what it feels like to be run over by a horse. But anyway, my sister's big out of favor with me at the moment. I actually don't need the notes to tell you about this. So for those of you who know my sister, and oh my word, I hope I'm not saying things out of turn here, Phil. So like, get the NSA on to like delete if I am giving away state secrets. But my sister works for the peacekeeping force in the Middle East. Half her life is fabulous because one of the camps, she migrates between two camps. They rotate in and out. So the one camp is marvelous. It's in Sharm el-Sheikh. So she spends her life scuba diving and snorkeling and tanning and paying really, really cheap rates to be in 5-star hotels in a fabulous place in the world. And then the other part of her life is in the North Camp, which I'm not sure, and I don't think we're supposed to know where it is. On a mission to make sure that the Sinai is safe. And originally that was obviously an Israeli-Egypt thing, but it has also become an ISIS thing. So my sister is currently in the North Camp, so she probably can't even hear this. I don't know. Sometimes they're on lockdown when things happen there. But it really is kind of a place where there are like, you have to sleep with earplugs because there's missiles going over. But when she is in North Camp, she is the senior civilian there, and over the festive season was assigned the role of medevac. So medevac is that if someone gets sick, you will get in the helicopter with them and you will like take custody of this person as they airlift them off to, I think they take them to Israel, I'm not 100% sure, to get medical attention. And, you know, I had suggested to Phil that probably the best way of handling the situation would be to get a recording of the Mission Impossible soundtrack, so that as she was doing this medevac, you know, she could like rappel down from the helicopter and could, you know, play it to the Mission Impossible soundtrack and then record that for us. Oh, I see I've got connection problems, but we're back. So anyway, to repeat that, but if you missed it, you know, my sister is under the impression that being in a peacekeeping force is about keeping the peace. I am under the impression that it is all about reenacting scenes from Mission Impossible. I really, 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 really want from Mission Impossible. It would delight me. It would probably solve like my problems. In fact, if you showed off my sister, because my sister is like just a thinner version of me, I think it would probably actually be a blockbuster. Anyway, she's not talking to me at the moment because I'm cross with her because she won't Mission Impossible-ize a peacekeeping mission in the Middle East, which I think is just really unfair. Anyway, as usual, I have rambled on and on and on and on. I hope you enjoyed some of the reviews about Cultivating Happiness. Comes out on the 22nd of Jan. I am really, really excited about it. It's a piece of work that I feel really proud about. Really scared too, because as you know, it's a memoir, and you know, I'm like, what will happen when I bump into some of the characters that I have written about, and they went, hey, the woman with the double chin, was that me? I am really, really, really scared about what will happen when that occurs. Maybe that's part of the agoraphobia. Anyway.